Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Teacher's Lounge. I'm your host, Tanner. Megan is not here, her family is sick, and I could not find a guest co host. So, guess what? Cheers! Diet Coke. Lovely. Now, if you don't mind, I am going to be eating some goldfish flavor blasted extra cheddar. Because sometimes you just need a little snack. It is currently 11:44 on a Saturday. Um, Last night I went to the high school basketball game, so I did not get to record yesterday. And there's a bunch of stuff going on at school. Smelly wise, so I didn't get to record yesterday before the games. So, here we are, Saturday. You get me in my lovely, humble abode. Yes, I still have a Christmas picture out. Yes, I still have a fall picture out. Yes, I still have a summer sunflower out. And yes, I still have this painting, which you can only see the very bottom, but they were all hand painted by moi, except for that Santa. Anywho, moving on. Today is going to be kind of a shorter video because I'm by myself. Boo. But I asked for questions on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and y'all really didn't come back with anything because I think you're like me and you think somebody else is going to respond, so you don't respond. But when a social media person, aka Tanner or Megan, the Teacher's Lounge, asks you to submit a question, please submit a question. I don't even care what it is. What's your favorite color? I'm going to answer. Okay? But I had my good friend, KC, not the name KC, initials KC. This person wanted to remain anonymous. Sent in a bunch of questions. I had a couple of church people send in some questions. So let's get to it. Okay. I feel like we should start with the church question first because I think it's a good one. And over on the side, if you see me looking over here, that's where my computer is, and that is where I am looking up the questions. My one friend, Emin, said, what is the thing or things you dislike about school? Well, about teaching. And I really don't have like a solid answer for this. I think my biggest problem or dislike with teaching is how fast paced everything is. And even though we're at school for 7-8 hours a day, I feel like I'm rushing. So I just feel like sometimes the content gets lost, or the kids don't understand as well. So then when they take the quiz, I'm horrified, and then I'm like, well, did I even teach that well enough for them to take the quiz on it? So I think just feeling rushed. I don't feel rushed by anybody, just that we have 180 days to teach all of this curriculum, and each year the kids change. So one year they might get it, and the next year they might not. So that's one thing I would say I dislike about teaching, is just feeling rushed overall with teaching the material. But yeah, next question. This person wants to know, what does it look like there's a thing up there? Oh, because that's my cropped picture. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the one she sent first. Do you look up to any teachers? When I was in school, I first of all wanted to be a bus driver. I thought that was so cool. One of my friends from preschool and elementary school, Ethan Redmond, holla, his mom was my bus driver. Thought it was so cool. Then I wanted to be a baker, but as I kept growing up, when I was in high school, I did a cadet teaching program, and I really enjoyed my time there. So I would say I looked up to those teachers, but also like my ag teacher, Nancy Bell, made me want to become a teacher. My friend Brittany Hernandez now was Brittany Asbury. Every time I subbed at one of our local elementary schools, She taught preschool at that school, and I would always go and talk to her about my life decisions and what was going on, and subbing for her and being with her kind of reinforced the idea that I wanted to become a teacher before I was one. So I would say definitely Nancy Bell and Brittany Hernandez are two specifically, but like I liked all my teachers. I don't think I had a teacher I didn't like. So I would say all of them, but those two specifically. This is a good one, and my friend said, how do you handle when a student isn't getting the lesson, but they aren't asking questions? So this is hard, especially in my math class, I feel like. They're writing down what I'm saying, we're working through the problems together, where people are answering questions, but the kids who tend to struggle more are not going to always be willing to ask questions. And especially in the environment of today where people make fun of other people for not understanding something, or in 5th grade, it's like peer pressure, there's bullying, you're trying to make a name for yourself. And I know a lot of teachers are probably going to disagree with me on this, but when it's the same 5 kids answering my questions and somebody's looking lost, I do call on them, hoping to bring them back into the lesson because I feel like they're out of paying attention. But just to see what they can guess with maybe not knowing or not understanding. And if they don't get it, I don't like to call on another person to get it. I like to explain why the answer is not correct. Do I do that every single time? No. But this year, I have started to focus more on that. I have started to call on the people who looked a little spaced out just to make sure they are understanding, especially with masks on. You can only see the eyes and you can only see their body language. You can't see them like mouthing, yeah, I get this, or, oh, 5 times 7 is 35. Like, you can't see them working out the problems without them writing. And if they just look disengaged, I tend to call on them. But if I've had whole classes not get a lesson before and we've retaught it, I like to use IXL, which is a teaching website that has a whole bunch of skills by grade level. Some of them overlap between grade levels. And it can be tied into a bunch of different math books and English books and science books and social studies books. So I have it attached to our skill plan for my math textbook. And after I teach a lesson, I put the skills on IXL starred for my kids. So when if they're not understanding something, I know they're not going to go to that skill right away. But when they pass all the other ones, the hard one's going to be the only one that's left. So I know that that's something I might need to bring up to them, especially if they are missing a lot of questions in a row. On IXL, you can see there's like a little red warning triangle that comes up when they've missed 3 out of 5 questions. It goes away once they get the ratio 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5. But that triangle kind of alerts me like, oh, these 5 kids aren't getting this lesson. So then I can either pull a small group, or I can have my aide pull a small group. Shout out to Mrs. Kavanaugh. Hey, girl. But yeah, I would say either reteaching the whole lesson or trying to call out that student to help then reteach what they might not be understanding. What's your favorite subject to teach? Math. I'm really starting to like social studies. Last year, we didn't really do much in 2nd and 3rd grade. I did a states poster, but that was about it. But last year and this year, I think the books we have are good. They have a bunch of different activities and worksheet pages that go along with each lesson, or chapter, unit, whatever. So I would say math and social studies. Math overall, but social studies is coming in clutch with second. What are common expectations for teachers? Well, you have to be nice. I mean, of course, you're going to have moments where you're going to have to be a little more stern, but overall, you want to have a nice persona. You have to show up on time. If you're constantly showing up late, well, your kids aren't going to have a teacher. You have to know the material. If you don't know something, you need to ask questions. I feel like that's expectations that's missed a lot, is that if you don't know it, you're kind of shunned for not knowing it. And something I've learned throughout this is my 4th year, is that you need to ask questions in order to be the best you can be. So we need to stop having that expectation that everybody knows everything and that it's okay to ask questions. What are other common expectations? I don't know. I think that's all I can think of right now. How do you handle the drama within the school, if there is any? Ooh, the tea, the drama. I don't get involved. I mean, obviously, as a team, we talk about how students are doing, in our rooms, and sometimes that can create a little bit of drama. But like, if it's teacher drama, I don't even know about it. Honestly, I talk with my like core group of people. Sometimes we have a little chat back and forth about somebody, but it's like, is the word a confidant? I don't even know. It's just one of those things where something has like upset you recently and you just need to get it off your chest, and then you just move on. So it's like, I don't even have the time. People are like, don't tell anybody. I'm like, first of all, I can't even remember what you told me. Second of all, I don't have time to tell anybody else. I got a million other things to do. Hello, I'm a teacher. But honestly, the 2 schools I have been in don't have a lot of drama, at least that I know about. And even if they did, I'm sure it's been handled. So, because you know what, that's not my problem either. Ooh, if you wouldn't have become a teacher, what do you think you'd be doing? Well, like I said, I've always wanted to be a bus driver. And I got to do that at the early learning center I drove a minibus to take kids to and from school. But personally, like now, I would love to be a coach. I mean, I coach at the elementary level. I would like to get up to the high school level. I really want to coach girls basketball. Pardon me. So I would say either a girls basketball coach, high school, college level, aka high school level. I could never do college. Probably. Now I'm going to put it out into the universe. Yes, please, college. Or a baker. I tried to do an in-home baking thing, didn't work out. Shocker. But I know not a bunch, 2 people. One's my cousin and one is my cousin's friend. They have their own at-home bakeries, and now one's in an actual shop at Purdue. So, I mean, it can happen. But baking, I love to bake. Me and my friend Murray, I call her name's Angela Brown. We love to bake. Someday we want to have a food truck. Let's see here. Why did you want to become a teacher? I did not want to become a teacher until my senior year of high school. That's a lie. I wanted to be an ag teacher. I wanted to teach agriculture. I really loved my ag teacher, Nancy Bell. I loved FFA. I loved all the classes I had to take with it. And I thought that was a life for me. Well, fun fact, didn't get into Purdue. So that was like the summer of my junior year, leading into my senior year. I decided to take a cadet teaching class my elementary school that I went to as a kid, and I just fell in love with teaching. I don't know how to put it into words. It's like you just kind of know. Like as you're going through school, you either like the experience or you don't. Like I enjoyed my experience with the teachers and with the learning. I wasn't the brightest student. I had horrible test anxiety. So I totally get where some of these students are coming from with test anxiety. But there was nothing else I really wanted to do. Like baking wasn't a thing anymore. I did it as a hobby more than I wanted to do as a career. And just having those two classes, like ag classes and the cadet teaching class, made me realize that I like hanging out with younger kids instead of adults. And just I can help form the next generation who's going to be taking over after my generation. So that's why I decided to become a teacher, to help the students like me who struggled with learning. Have I come close to understanding how to do that yet in my first 4 years? Maybe 2%, but I just feel like every year I'm getting better. And I think if you ask the admin I've worked under, I think they would agree with that. Because it's a learning experience. Like I said earlier, every year is different. Every class makeup is different. So what works one year might not work the next year, and you just have to adapt and change with that. So yeah, I think it was just one of the only careers I cared about. So that's why I wanted to become a teacher. I did try my hand at management in college because I didn't get into the teaching program at my first school. Yeah, business wasn't for me, so definitely knew teaching was the thing. That just still cracks me up. I tried business. What's something you tell a first year teacher that you wish you would have known? Ask questions, 1000%. Don't think you're gonna look stupid because you don't know an answer to something. You need to ask questions. You need to know how to do your job. Ask questions and don't be scared to do it. That doesn't mean you have to go to your principal for every single question. Go to your reading coach. Go to a person on your team. Go to a veteran teacher. Go to, I can't even think right now, a special education teacher if you're having trouble with trying to incorporate the interventions, what are those things called? Oh my gosh, accommodations for those kids. Just ask questions, learn. You're still learning. You're still new to the job, still new to the profession. Don't think you're going to look stupid by asking a question. That is something I learned the hard way. But I think once somebody was like, you're not bugging me. I feel like I'm bugging people all the time when I ask questions. But they're like, it's legit my job as the literacy coach to help you learn how to use the literacy program or the math program or the social studies program. Like, that's my job title, literacy coach. Coach being the key word there. So you just take all the help you can get. Don't be afraid to ask questions. How was the interaction between the school and parents? I don't have a problem with the parents. We use Class Dojo. I used to use Remind. Dojo's a nice place for me to be able to message parents if something's going on. I send out my newsletter there. They can send me notes if the student has a question about homework or something happened at school that I didn't catch. They can contact me on there instead of trying to call during the day or emailing me. Let's see. I put on my positive points through there. I don't do negative points through Dojo, because that's more of a conduct thing for me. But all their positive points go on Dojo, and the parents can see like what they've got positive points for, whether it's holding a job in class, being at school, being on the IXL leaderboard, which is something new I started this year, participating in class, getting a related arts compliment, different things like that. So I think it's pretty good. I don't really have any problems. I mean, if a parent has a problem with you, they're going to approach you about it, and you're going to handle it how you should as a professional. And I mean, talk to your principal about how you should respond, because obviously sometimes you're in the heat of the moment and something might have happened where you're trying to be all defensive, and they're going to be like, slow your roll, killer. Like, they just want to know this blanket question, you know? But rarely ever do you have that. You know, you all have parents who want the best for their kids, which we all do, but most of the time, 99.9% of the time, it's professional on both ends. In my cases, I haven't really had the quote-unquote parent who complains about everything. So, I enjoy the school parent communication. Let's see here. Any other questions? My friend, Mrs. Kavanaugh, did send in this question. She was like, who's your favorite math helper? Well, I only have one, and it's Mrs. Kavanaugh. So, my favorite would have to be me. I like myself. Miss Kavanaugh's okay. Just kidding, hens. Love ya. Let's see. Any other questions I want to answer? Any other cool things? I'm gonna try to cut this off at 25 minutes. So I'm gonna try to let's see. Teacher Q and A. Oh, somebody did ask me what the theme of my room is. So my first year was owls, my next year was confetti. Next year I combined the two. Currently it is owls and confetti/rainbow. I just like the bright fun colors. I don't like a dark gloomy room. So that is my current classroom decor. Let's see here. Oh, girl, that's interview questions. I don't have time for that. I'm like fun questions. I should have put fun in the Google, you know? Fun teacher questions. Oh, mother. Fun. Okay, Tyrion, gotta wrap it up. Oh, one of my fun question is, and during an interview, is oh, well, I guess I should say, where did I go to school? Well, I graduated from North Montgomery High School. Yes, I do teach at Crawfordsville, now currently at Molly B. Hoover, 4th and 5th grade school. College, I went to Marian University, did not graduate with anything, was there for 2.5 years. Went to Ivy Tech, got my associates in early childhood education, was there for 2.5 or a year and a half. I don't know. Either way, graduated with my associates, worked in the early childhood field for 3-4 years, decided to go back to subbing, and then went to Indiana State University and finished with my bachelor's in another 2.5, and am currently teaching at Molly B. Hoover. Oh, my favorite dish from the cafeteria, this is just a fun question on here, chicken patty or chicken and noodles, which I don't think they even do chicken and noodles anymore, which is really disappointing because they were really good. You always love getting the chicken and noodles with mashed potatoes, with roll, and green beans, milk, lovely, beautiful. Any embarrassing teaching moments you're willing to share? I have one. Am I gonna share? Okay, this might be a little longer than 25, I'm sorry, I have to share. 2 things. Student teaching. It was after school, and I was at this school in Terre Haute, Indiana, and It was after school. Sorry, I'm on the floor. My legs asleep. Anywho, I was at my student teaching school in Terre Haute. I was in 5th grade. I had 31 students. The size of the room was about I don't even know what to compare it to, but it was like a sardine can. Okay, so after they have their chairs up on their desk. My coordinating teacher is talking with me, and I'm like, ooh. In my mind, I'm like, ooh, my stomach's rumbling. Then, when you're about to throw up, you get that taste in your mouth, like acidy taste. I was like, And the trash can that was normally by my student teaching desk, which is like at the back of the room, had been used for a person who threw up earlier in the day. So it wasn't even in our room. Or I could have thrown up right there in the trash can. So she's talking to me. I'm like, I am beelining it over to the trash can across the room. I'm walking between a row of desks. And I just go, bleh! And it goes in students' desks, on their chair, on the floor. I don't even I am walking to the trash can, but it's just like, oh, there it is. So, needless to say, it was great. Needless to say, the cleaning crew, custodians, God bless them, they work harder than almost anybody, had a time cleaning that up. I didn't have a fever. I wasn't sick. This was before COVID. So, just kind of not the best moment when you're with your student teaching coordinator. Yeah, so that was really embarrassing. Another embarrassing moment was my first year of teaching after it was like the end of the school year. It was a teacher day. I'm telling you what, all my stories are bodily functions. I am legit walking, I go to get Starbucks, have to have my coffee. I am in my car, okay? And it's not when I have to be dressed professionally. So I'm wearing a t-shirt, underwear, obviously, and shorts, socks, shoes, the whole kit and caboodle when it's summertime, okay? I am in my car, okay? I'm driving to school. Butt cheeks clenched, okay? I'm like, ooh. Oh, I don't know that I'm gonna make it. Oh, I don't know that I'm gonna make it. Didn't make it. Fun fact. So, what do? Rinse out the undies, throw them in the bag, go commando the whole staff PD day. Had to talk in front of people. Self-conscious the whole time. So that was pretty embarrassing. I did tell a few of my co-teachers that just because I thought it was funny. And of course they're dying laughing because they're like, you've legit had a shitty day. I'm like, you have no idea what kind of shit I've been through. Anyways, I think that's a good place to end on. We'll have to ask Megan if she's had any embarrassing stories being a teacher. But I want to thank you all for joining me on this fun, extravagant video where I'm sitting on the floor, my legs asleep. I keep adjusting myself on the floor because I'm trying to wake up my leg. I'm using a book makeshift here to hold my camera up. I have my Diet Coke, but that's all I have going for me. And it's a Saturday. That's going for me too, I guess. But I want to thank you all for joining me on this week's episode of The Teacher's Lounge. And, yeah. Why don't you send me your embarrassing stories down below? And if we find one funny enough, we might share it on next week's podcast. Everybody say a prayer for Megan and her family. Hope they all get better soon. And I will see you next week, hopefully, with Megan Marie Foster with me so we can tackle another Teacher's Lounge podcast video. Peace out. Bye.